With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Joining us in studio is friend of the show and my brother from another mother, as they say, Nick Pagliocchini. What is up, Nick?
It is so good to be back with you. And I can't even believe, and I'm going to do the cliched thing. I can't believe we're already into February because it already feels like we have lived through a year to this point.
Yeah, I can believe and appreciative that we are in February because January could not end soon enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that we're finally here, but it's good to be here and thank you for having me. But I just do you want to just jump into it?
Let's jump into it.
Okay. So I want to talk about something I actually did last week, and it's something that's really cool that I think will be exciting because it comes up here in the next couple of months. So I was at the Pasadena Showcase House for the Arts, and this was something that has the 60th anniversary this year. And this is something that's very unique and different because it is a fundraiser for diverse arts programs within the schools in the Altadena and the Pasadena and everything else. So it was very interesting because it was supposed to happen. We did an empty house party. So it's this big, beautiful home in Pasadena, and all these incredible designers come together and decorate it. And then you get to go through it and you get to meet the designers and you figure out their process, which in the world that we're living in right now, it kind of helps. It was really interesting to talk to them because a lot of them are very local, live in the SGV, the San Gabriel Valley area. And so they're very affected by the Eaton fire and everything else that happened. So, but also, the amount of money, I mean, the millions of dollars that have been raised by the Showcase House of Design, so this will be the 60th anniversary, and so far it's $26 million contributed to the arts within the San Gabriel Valley area. So this year is going to be very, very different because they're also working with CAL FIRE, and they're also working with the Eaton Fire and trying to help people that are trying to figure out and navigate people getting back into their homes and however that all plays out. But being able to go and tear through this big, beautiful home that was torn down to pretty much the studs and getting ready for it to come in is so different and unique because for me, I'm not that guy. I'm not that designer guy. So to be able to experience it in person and being able to talk to people and kind of get their process for it, but also to have this unusual weight that kind of was overshadowing the whole event because it was supposed to happen literally the week that the fires broke out. And so then for it to transition into this is so unique, but to see and be able to talk to these designers, some of them very, very young and that are up and coming, working with different architecture firms and everything here in the Southland and really being able to do it. So this is just one of the many things that you can check out. You can always follow me on social media, Nick Pagliocchini, This Week Out with Nick. Details for it are at the link in bio, but that one was so different because as we talked about, and we've talked about a few times, having been over the Palisades with the fires and volunteering, and then now being back into the San Marino, Altadena, Pasadena area, the whole thing, it's so interesting to be in the environment. Even if you're not directly in the area where the fire was affected, it's affected everybody. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about the bougie world of San Marino and South Pass and everything else. It has genuinely affected everybody. And so to be at an event where it was really kind of a celebration. I mean, it's their 60th anniversary anyway of raising so much money for the kids, but it was specific to being able to talk to a lot of people who lost a lot or knew people who lost a lot. So it was very, very different. But anyway, that was the empty house party, and I've got some pictures on social media that you can check out. It's pretty wild. It's a beautiful home, but I'll be also passing along details as time progresses about how you can check it out when it's all decked out and has all those designers and all the fun and excitement for it. It's different. It's unique. It's something special. It is not free 99, but all the money.
What?
I know, but I'll get to the free 99 stuff here in a bit. But it's something where the money is going to a cause and you get to see it. Because that's, I think, the thing that we don't experience a lot is we make a donation. I don't want to call anybody out, but there's a couple of places that even this week have said, oh, we're putting out, this box of candy. and $1 from it is going to support.
Yeah.
Which I hugely appreciate because I don't know every facet of it. But when you actually get to tangibly experience where the money is going, that's so different than just to be like, oh, I feel good about myself. I donated money. I was able to, support a cause and help people out.
It's less abstract.
It is. And it's very, like, when we're talking design, it's literally, you're able to be in there and really touch everything and feel every, piece of material, from wallpaper to paint to the way that the sculptures are done to hearing the stories of why they picked what went into what room to honor that home that's in Pasadena and has this history from the 1920s when it was built. So it's really cool, really different. But something else to get into that's a little bit more exciting is that's happening right now is the Pan African Film and Arts Festival kicked off tonight. So I was actually... I came over here because I wanted to hang out here, but tonight was a really cool opening party for it. But this is something that kind of goes back to what you've talked about earlier, that in real life, IRL theater experience. Communal experience, because this is different for me. And this, for me, is one of the first major film festivals that's happening here in Southern California. They happen every weekend. They happen every week. This one runs through the middle of the month. But you get to sit down and meet those people. So beyond talking about Fantastic Four and all the really cool trailers and everything with Marvel that we love from the big, huge powerhouses, to be able to meet people kind of like you even talked about, the documentaries, and being able to meet these people and talk to them and really get that feel. For me, this is what makes that in-person experience more viable. And so even if you don't go to this specific film festival, I encourage you to find what's going on in your backyard, because literally there's stuff that goes on in Newport Beach. There's stuff that goes on out in Riverside. There's stuff that happens up in Ventura. There's things that happen in San Diego. So much is happening throughout the Southland that happens not just on the weekends, but during the week. And I think that's the biggest thing, because sometimes you just need a reset. And we've really hit that point now where the in-person experience for movies may not connect with everybody.
And I think after a certain point, we get in such a routine of it's either the movies or this or that. We lose sight of the other options which are available, or we don't think to explore these other options.
Right. No, and I think that's it. You hit the nail on the head, specifically because we get into our bubble. We get into our blinders on situation. I got to get up at X number of hours. I got work. I got this. I can maybe fit in, a drink with a friend during the week. These are really cool opportunities for you to get out there and to be a part of the community and also get that drink with your friend. And it doesn't take much. And for the most part, like including the film festival, the Pan African Film and Arts Festival, they have an install at Westfield Culver City. So it's happening at the Culver Theater.
Excuse me.
Yes.
It's the Fox Hills Mall.
You're correct. It is the Fox Hills Mall. No,
don't you ever call it Westfield.
No, you're right.
Look, his mama named him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. It's the Fox Hills Mall.
Which is funny because when going back to my time as a traffic reporter here for KFI, I would always talk about Fox Hills, and people literally like, where's that? And I was like,
it's a monument.
But that's what I'm saying. You cannot miss it. If you're going up the 405, you cannot miss the Fox Hills Mall. Now, granted, it now has Westfield Culver City branding and everything else.
I don't care what they call it.
But that's it. And that whole area right there, just before the 90, is going to be the Fox Hills area, like right there.
That's right.
On the east
Edge
side
of Culver City.
Right, exactly. But it's so integral to that, and being able to even go to which used to be the Magic Johnson Theater in Crenshaw, is now a Cinemark. So
yes,
the theater, and so they're one of the venues that will be showcasing the films from the Pan African Film Festival. So it's something that's different. But again, going back over to Fox Hills Mall, Westfield Culver City, that they do have over 150 international artists that have an art installation there, which is kind of cool. So that plays into the free 99. You may get a little bit of commerce in there.
Wait,
as
how much is that again?
Free 99.
Okay, just
thank you very much.
We got to go to a quick break. We'll have more with Nick Poliokini in just a moment. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Nick Poliokini. Last call when Nick is on to tell you what to do. Nick Poliokini. Last call when Nick is on with free 99 for you. Nick Poliokini. Last call when Nick is on, he'll tell us all what we're in this weekend. Last call when Nick is on, this weekend is up to you.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly and Nick Poliokini. We're both live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And Nick, still, what is up? What is going on? Where are we going? Where are you going?
I'm going to be headed off to Disney this weekend, which is not surprising. We talked about maybe my 18 times, but the thing that I like, and I actually was there today before coming in, because right now is the Celebrate Soulfully Festival. Well, festival, I guess, is not the right name for it, but just Celebrate Soulfully is happening at the Disneyland Resort. So it affects Downtown Disney, Disneyland Park, and Disney California Adventure Park. The next 2 weekends are 2 of my favorite weekends at the resort because of the Fantasyland Theater inside of Disneyland. So yes, it does require park admission, but if you are one of our Magic Key holders, if you're a annual pass holder, like me, this is well worth your time. So go ahead and get in there and make that day reservation for Saturday or Sunday this weekend or next, because they have the Celebrate Gospel, which is an absolutely incredible thing. Different choirs from around the Southland and around the country. So there's a couple that are coming in from Africa this year and a couple from Europe. So it's really, really impressive for you to come in. And this is something, while it is not free $99 to get into Disneyland, it is included with the price of admission. So whether you're a Magic Key holder and you are going and just have, like
Is
myself.
this their Gospel Fest?
It is the Gospel Fest. So
Okay.
it's the next 2 weekends. But it's so different and unique because a lot of people may have heard this music, but haven't experienced it. And if you've never been to church, like we've talked about going to church, right? This is that opportunity for you, because it's not just, going to someone's home or going to somebody's home church. You've got different parishes from around the country, around the world that'll be there. But specifically, you'll have just choirs that come out. And for me, that style of music, as not to be cliched again with Disney with the Celebrate Soulfully, but there's a different soul behind it. There's a different feeling behind that style of music. And so that is something worth checking out. Also, we're exactly a month away from Mardi Gras, which I'm excited because that means I'll be here to celebrate Fat Tuesday with you guys, because Tuesdays with Nick and What's Up with Nick.
Hey.
We're going to be, so a month from today is going to be Mardi Gras, but that doesn't mean it's not already everywhere around the Southland, including SeaWorld down in San Diego. I was there this past weekend, checked it out. They've got a brand new parade. So that is a great opportunity for you. Took my nieces down there because they have their birthdays at the end of January. And the thing that's special about SeaWorld, and it's very controversial still to this day after Blackfish and everything else, SeaWorld is so educational. And that is where so many people are like, oh, I'd never go because of, the controversy behind how the animals are treated and everything else like that. And I can understand if that's where you sit, okay. But when I lived in San Diego as a kid, that was my first theme park before Disneyland or anything else. And I was so excited to be able to go in there and experience what it'd be to be like a marine biologist. So that's the opportunity that's still there. So it's a very different world now.
Yeah, I don't think that's contradictory. Two things could have been true.
Which is true.
The treatment of the animals and marine life could have been problematic, and it was still educational.
Correct. Which is the thing. And I understand and relate to where people come from of what you just said, if it's something that is very deep to your heart. But the thing is, it is so incredible to have taken my nieces, who are now 6 and 9, and see the wonder in their eyes that you don't experience. You see them go have a good time at another theme park, or you take them to the church carnival and they get to go on rides, and that's a whole fun experience. But being able to be up close and personal, especially with marine animals, is so unique and special. And SeaWorld, while you can experience that at zoos, or maybe if you're lucky enough to be able to go someplace that has, a wildlife preserve that you can experience, this is so different. But on top of that, completely separate, you've got Mardi Gras celebrations underway down there. They also just had the Lunar New Year celebration. If you're still looking to do Lunar New Year, check out This Weekend with Nick and Nick Poliokini on Instagram. The link in bio has all the final celebrations that are happening for Lunar New Year, which just happened last week. So it's a really great opportunity. Granted, we're getting back into the swing of things after everything that hit us here in Southern California, but there's so much for you to enjoy. In fact, you can even head over to Buena Park, because this weekend kicks off Peanuts celebration. So that's Peanuts, Charles Schultz with Snoopy and Charlie Brown and Lucy. That celebration happens every year. And going to Buena Park and going to Knott's Berry Farm, if you're looking for something a little bit more on the reasonably priced side, that theme park and resort is great. And they have a fantastic hotel there. You can make an entire experience out of it. But that's just a bunch of stuff going on. We've gotten through January, which took 3 years to get through, or so it felt.
Thereabouts, maybe 2.5.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
But now that we're moving into February, it's nice to be able to get out. And that's my biggest encouragement as the air quality is improving around Southern California from the fires. it's time to get out, because this is that time of the year where things are a little chill and a little mellow before we get into the thick of it once again, because spring break will be here right around the corner, and then summer.
And it seems like we're getting rain this week, but not this weekend.
Correct. And even if it is, and if it's going to be what we've seen, we haven't had rain extensively. So that's one of those kind of the inside scoop, if you will, of going to a theme park or going to any of these venues, even if it is an outdoor experience, if the experience isn't canceled or if the park isn't closed for the day, it's a great time to go. If you want short lines, if you want to be able to get on everything, obviously check in. And then the one thing that it'll be a tease for when I'm back next week, but FanFest is coming to Universal Studios, which is a brand new experience that will be coming up. I'll be there for the opening weekend of it, but FanFest will be maybe the sister event to Halloween Horror Nights. And it is going to be featuring Star Trek and Back to the Future and all the different Universal properties, plus anime and all many different things. So I don't know, like now's the time. We're getting back into the swing of things. There's so much happening around Southern California. And if you're doing Universal City Walk, that's free $99. If you're using downtown Disney.
Wait. City Walk is free. Parking is
not free.
Okay.
But with validation, depending on when you're going, you'll be able to get that. So
look, when I lived in Studio City, I spent a lot of time back in the day at City Walk. The parking was cost prohibitive.
I can understand that. And here's my recommendation. And I say this with all the love in the world for the Disneyland Resort. You can get a pass to Universal Studios that includes parking for a very reasonable price of only a couple $100. Reasonable for a year's worth of experience.
Oh, year's worth. Okay.
Yeah, we're not talking for one night. No.
Okay.
No.
Because I know it was getting very expensive for one night. I mean, it's almost
for
like
one night.
Going to see a sporting event.
No, you're right.
Like $50.
No, you're absolutely right. So I think that's it. And especially down your way. I mean, you're in the thick of it with Intuit Dome and the Forum.
They charge like $95 a game.
No, exactly. That's why I get lucky, because I get to go, hey, Mo,
you can stop by my house.
Can I stop by your house? Do you mind? And I'll just lift your Uber over, which is even funnier because now I'm spending the money to get over there, but still.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for having me on, dude.
Always good to see you, brother.
Pleasure as always.
When we come back, I have to tell you about this must-see TV show. You must watch it. At least the first episode. The first episode. Take my word for it. If you don't take my word for it, you're missing out on one of the best shows of the year. We'll tell you about it next.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm not someone who likes to buy into TV shows in their first season. I do not want to get emotionally attached. Then the show underperforms or some corporate decision is made to cancel it, and I'm left holding the emotional bag of a show which goes nowhere. So I'm really reticent to jump into a show early on. But I happened to watch the first episode of Paradise on Hulu. Blew me away. And it's one of those things where, well, let me just see what this is about. If you don't know, Paradise stars James Marsden as the President of the United States and Sterling K. Brown. It's more like Sterling K. Brown's story. He plays the head of the president's detail. So I'm all into like government thrillers and conspiracy theories, that kind of thing. I like those types of shows because I'm into all things government and civics. This show starts one way, and I don't want to give it away. It's a whole different show by the end of the first episode. It is so smart the way they do it. It will leave your mouth hanging open. You won't see what's coming. You just don't see what's coming. And it takes you back to, they've marketed this for like 2 months and no one saw what was coming. I suggest, if you're a fan of government thrillers, put it that way, watch the first episode of Paradise on Hulu.
Is it in the vein of like Night Agent? Because that just came out.
You can say Night Agent. You can say The Recruit.
Okay.
Because you're talking about presidential politics and protecting the president. So there are all sorts of stories which could be told within that matrix. But this is something I can say that there are elements similar to another show, but I don't want to say because it would give it away where the show goes. I just tell people, watch the first episode of Paradise and see. If you don't like it after the first episode, no need to keep on going. I suspect you'll want to keep going. And now the 4th episode dropped today, and it was another just mind-blowing. You think like, Mo, you're being a little hyperbolic. No. It's one of the best shows that I've seen in quite some time for the genre that it's in. And it's Hulu, but it's not Disney. There's a lot of F-bombs. There's a lot of cussing. A lot. And I like shows with a lot of cussing because for me, that's how people talk. It felt very real in that regard. The quips are off the cuff. It's like, what are you effing wearing? That type of thing. So it's very comfortable. It feels like these are people that we would know on a personal level, even though they happen to be very powerful. Check out Paradise on Hulu. I don't want to tell you more than that. Mark Ronner, promise me, because you love me, that you watch just the first episode.
Well, it's already kind of been ruined for me because somebody in the household had it on.
Oh, really?
And have you had these conversations as a married man? Hey, I kind of wanted to watch that. Oh, you can still watch it. I know, but you're watching the 3rd episode, and
right
it's at
now.
the end of it right now.
Yeah,
so you just ruined it for me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'll go back and restart it.
Please do. Yeah, Stefan.
Not ideal.
Highly recommend. Tawala, he may or may not watch it, but yeah, definitely recommend. It's one of those shows like I had no idea. I like Sterling K. Brown as an actor. I like James Marsden as an actor. He is pretty damn funny in this in an unintentional way.
And let me just say for people that are listening, Mo recommends shows. However, this is the first time, and we're coming up on a little over 2 years, that just a text, watch Paradise.
It's true.
That was the text
It's
to
true.
our group chain. And I was like, wow, that must be something special.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I regained a lot of faith in quote unquote television being creative and inventive, not formulaic. Telling stories with characters that matter and you have rooting interests and there's stakes.
You're not suggesting that you like it better than The Agency, are you?
No. But see, I think it's different. The Agency is much more grounded, and it's not about bang, bang, shoot 'em up, and it's understated if I were to compare the two shows.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
And Paradise is a little more cinematic in its presentation.
Paradise seemed to me a little bit more like a Fox TV show, and The Agency to me was it was almost like the French original. It's about the most serious people on earth who are not playing around.
Yeah, Paradise, as far as the lensing, it looks like a TV show, but when you get into it, it's a long form movie. It really is. It's a movie broken up into, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 episodes.
I do enjoy the swearing though.
Oh, yes. And I look forward to it every single episode. There are at least 7 or 8 F-bombs every single episode. Strong characters, strong backstories. Yes, there's, some, expository flashbacks, which is fine. It doesn't bother me too much, but it's necessary to this particular plot that I don't want to give away.
That's one of the things that I liked about Cross, even though when they made the villain reveal, I just about bailed, is the dialogue is full of some real talk.
Some real talk. It doesn't feel like dialogue. It feels like people who are actually talking to each other. Instead of you talking at the screen saying, tell that MF to X, Y, and Z. Well, they actually say that in the show.
That's exactly right. And we already know that there are all these studies that prove that the more profane people are, that's a sign of their intelligence.
It is. It is.
I feel like I'm being catered to.
Oh, this show will cater to that aspect of your personality.
Caters the living daylights out of me.
And the way it's presented, you think, show Paradise, it seems incongruous with the whole idea. It doesn't. The show name, you're not going to understand until episode 2 and 3. So you got to get through the first episode. and then everything will be made clear. And then you say, damn it, Mo was right. So check out Paradise on Hulu. Don't let anyone else tell you about it, please. Do not let anyone tell you about it. Just set aside 45 minutes for the first episode. If you love the first episode like I did, you'll continue on.
Sterling K. Brown wasn't really on my radar until I saw American Fiction, and then I was like, hey, just a second here. This guy's pretty cool.
He is, and he's also paid his dues. He's been flying under the radar for quite some time.
Yeah, he's been around the block.
He has not found that, I would say, star vehicle to make everyone know who he is. If I said Sterling K. Brown, it's like, well, who's that? And they show you a picture. Oh, yeah, that guy. But he's on the precipice. He's on the cusp. He's right there. And this is another vehicle where people will become more and more familiar with him.
He needs his own Marvel movie.
He cusses well, he was in Black Panther.
Oh.
He played Killmonger's father.
Oh, well, he needs a starring role in a Marvel thing.
Yeah. That time is coming.
Okay.
So, Mark, start at the beginning. Nick Pagliocchini, you can watch it too. I would love to get your feedback.
Thank you.
Just the first episode.
No, it has an incredible, beyond who we've already talked about. I've looked into the cast. It's impressive.
It's impressive for
really,
a TV show.
For a TV show.
Yeah.
When you said it was more so a movie that was broken down, that's 100% accurate. What I'm seeing here, because I have not, just like you asked, I have not
don't delve into the plot. Yeah.
But just looking at the cast.
Read it off real quick.
We've got Sterling K. Brown, Julianne Nicholson, Sarah Sahi.
Yeah, she's fine. Oh,
gorgeous.
She's so fine.
Gorgeous and so talented, but just absolutely incredible. Nicole Bryden Bloom, Aaliyah Maston, James Marsden, obviously already said, Cassidy Freeman. Mm-hmm. Scott Lawrence was the one that I really liked, who's does not get enough. He does a lot of character work.
Yes. You'll recognize him.
Yes. Let's see, Gerald McRaney.
It's almost like, honestly, not to minimize what to do, but there are a lot of character actors by face in this.
What's it? Yeah, Gerald McRaney, who is coach? No, Dad. What was he had the TV series? What?
Simon and Simon.
No,
yes,
yes, you're right. You're correct, but I'm trying to think of. Hold on. What's the other one?
I have to look it up. I don't have my.
I'm looking it up as fast as I can. I'm trying to move as quickly as I can. Simon and Simon, the A-Team, the reboot in 2010. Okay. He was in the Neverending Story. All right.
He's been around since the 70s.
He's been around, but NCIS Los Angeles. Sure. Family Guy voice. Oh, this is wild. Okay. I'm trying to remember. What was it? Was it Coach? Like, I'm trying to remember. There was something.
No, that was Craig T. Nelson.
There you go. Okay. So then what's the other one? Oh, now see. Major Dad.
Oh, yeah.
He was in Major Dad. Anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to commandeer for all of that. But I'm like, the cast is really impressive. And like you said, there are a bunch of actors that you're going to see and go, oh, I haven't seen that person in a while. Oh, okay.
Y'all have your homework assignment. Okay, don't come back to class without completing the homework assignment.
I got two more episodes of the Night Agent to go
first.
But
you're going to be up all night anyhow. It doesn't matter. And I was that kid who never did the homework assignment. I was always like, oh my gosh, I didn't read the book. Let me just try to fake it in class. I did a lot of that. And I was good at it too. Cliff's Notes were what I swore by.
Godsend.
Yes. Did I ever read The Stranger by Albert Camus? No.
Hey, that's actually good. Why wouldn't you read that?
Well, look, but I was weird like that.
Book.
I did read Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky.
I couldn't get through that.
It's a book. Why don't you read it?
It's a huge book.
I started.
But it's actually, if you read the book, it's the basis for almost every interrogation scene in movies today. And you best appreciate it, since we always talk about movies, if you read Crime and Punishment.
It's on my bucket list. I'll get to it when I retire.
Dostoevsky. You'll love it.
Thanks.
You learn some Russian, too. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Does everyone remember the homework assignment? Because there's going to be a test on this tomorrow. You better watch the first episode of Paradise. I don't ask for a lot. I really don't. It's not like Hulu's paying me or I'm trying to get an interview with one of the stars, though I wouldn't mind it. Okay, I'm just saying, I like the show. I think more people need to see the show. And if more people see the show, less inclined to cancel the show after one season. This is something that could have multiple seasons, or going back to what I was talking about with Nick Pagliocchini, maybe it's just one season and they can tell a complete story. There's nothing wrong with a limited series. I'm okay with the limited series as long as you have a beginning, middle, and end. And you could tie a bow on it at the end. This show could be that if they wanted to be. So the homework assignment, watch the first episode of Paradise.
Well, I can tell you the end of the third one looked promising.
Oh, yes. Yes. No, it's okay. It's okay. And since a lot of it does have a flashback component to it, it's okay. Let's go back to the beginning and put it all in context.
President James Marsden. Got to wrap my head around that.
Well, he's Cal Bradford in the show.
I see. Okay.
It's a nice presidential name.
I just think
most presidents will have like 2-syllable last names. You know, most, not all. Every once in a while you have an Obama and a Trump, but most of them 2 syllables.
This has been market tested, has it?
No, I'm just saying if you just look at the names of presidents, a lot of them have just 2 syllables.
I see.
And that idea carries over into TV and movies.
Well, Washington would like a word.
Like, for example, who's the president in Independence Day?
Oh, God. Bill Pullman was the actor, but I couldn't remember what his character name. Whitmore? Okay.
Yeah, Whitmore. Doesn't that sound presidential?
Works either way.
Yeah.
Both 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Before we get out of here, I want to do something a little bit new and different. Just a last thought for the night. Kind of just sets the whole show in perspective. And I got to say, I'm concerned for this nation right now. I'm concerned about young people right now. And I start off the show speaking to young people. I'm going to end the show right where I began. I remember when I was 18, I genuinely wanted to change the world. I wanted to be the change that I thought I wanted to see in the world. But someone told me long ago that I had to make a decision before I did anything. I was told to ask myself, and it wasn't something that I had to say publicly, but just ask myself, did I want to be performative or transformative? Was I more interested in being seen on radio and seen on TV and heard on the radio and covered in the media, or was I interested in putting in the work, changing laws and with it, the country? Sometime I wanted to be a lawyer, change laws. Then I got distracted in entertainment. So I had to ask myself, what was the main goal? And granted, ended up in radio and TV, I've since learned I can do a little bit of both. But prior to that, I didn't have any platform to be a change agent. So it meant I had to put in the work. Silently, oftentimes, quietly out of public view. It meant putting in work for years, sometimes without fanfare or appreciation. I'm not talking about my professional dreams. I'm just talking about what I wanted to see in the world. Sometimes I did so with a lot of criticism. In fact, I still do it with a lot of criticism. Right now, we live in a world that's long on celebrity and light on sweat. Maybe your wish is to improve the lives of people in the LGBTQ community. Maybe you want this country to have a greater appreciation of Christian values. Maybe you want to ensure equal pay for women. It doesn't matter what it is. It does mean you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to care more about putting in the work than posting a hashtag. Part of the reason, at least I believe, people are disenchanted with the world in which we live right now, because we don't do much more than watch cable news and post on social media. Every single day we watch cable news, we get mad, and then we post about how mad we are on social media. Rinse and repeat, and nothing ever really changes. But the only way we can be the change we want to see is to put in the work. And then after that, keep putting in the work. And then after that, keep putting in the work. And then when you get tired or you get old like me, you teach the next generation to what? Put in the work. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Free-range, non-genetically modified, handcrafted, artisanal, gluten-free, stimulating talk. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.